Hello, this is my EDL 853 case study. My name is Eric Cooper. This is Module 8. Background on our case study to get this child out of my room was the title. We know that Carl is a male student that's in third grade. His parents just went through a divorce. Mrs. Taylor is his third grade classroom teacher. Mrs. Green is also his special education teacher, new to the position this year after a teacher, special ed teacher, there for 25 years. And the school district is Fulton School District, and they share resources with 16 other schools. So small district sharing a lot of resources. Category 1, problem identification and analysis. What do you know? I know my face is covering the screen. There we go. Carl has started, what do you know? Carl has started self-abuse and acting out towards others. The teacher now wants him removed from the classroom because of his actions. Like I said earlier, there's a family divorce that just happened, and Mrs. Green is in her first year of being a special ed teacher. What do you need to know? We need to know what's in Carl's IEP, and never really explain what his what's in his IEP, what accommodations he has, if those accommodations are being met at this time, and have they been followed. What does the resource room look like, and who monitors it? This has been something good for him in the past, or not. Is who's in charge of it? Is it a male figure, a female figure, a para, another teacher? Just a few more things on that would be nice. And do we know of anything that triggers his behavior? Is there something that sets him off that maybe we can work to not have that happen? Okay, so identify the problem. One of the big factors of right now is his home life is identifying, or is the problem that's coming into the classroom. He's acting out towards Mrs. Taylor and other students, right, or other teachers. Students not so much yet, but acting out, throwing pencils or rocks at teachers off the bus and in the classroom. And with the amount of times we've tried contacting the parents, or they've tried to contact the parents, the parents seem to have a lack of support for the school right now. Okay, so let's put that right there. Category 2, plan of action with strategies. Add support to the class. I would try to add a support staff to the classroom, such as a para or a helper, but I would try doing it as a male. We have a lot of females right now. Maybe that's just an option. It might work. It might not, having a male figure in the room. I'd also ask Mrs. Green to frequent the classroom quite often to gather data and take notes to bring to the IEP meetings or when we meet the parents. The next thing I do is use the resource room. When needed, remove Carl from the classroom. That's a typo. It's Cara, not Carla. In the resource room, they can work on strategies that Mrs. Green has put in place. Whoever's in charge, let's make sure that they understand what needs to happen and also document it as they're working on it. And then the last thing, which, I think this is probably the most, lack of a better word, I guess, the thing that needs to happen the most, but the problem with the lack of resources, the counseling sessions need to happen. It's the best strategy I see. Set up times that both Mrs. Green also bring in specialists from the co-op that maybe has seen situations like this in the past, with Mrs. Green only being there 1 year. She might not have the most experience with that, but somebody in the co-op should be able to help out with that. But definitely set up some counseling sessions. Category 3, resolve the issue based on promoting the success of all students. Okay. The reason I chose what I did is the added support. Having a male in the classroom, and in case something happens, both maybe he looks up to the male student or the male teacher, and we're good there. Or if something happens, at least maybe the male student can help keep the teacher and the kid safe by asking and helping Carl get out of the classroom. Again, might just need that to be a role model, and then also just having somebody else in the classroom as an extra set of eyes in case it comes to become a he said, she said, and then one more person to document it. The resource room. It's a good place for Carl to go to calm down and gather his thoughts. Maybe he just needs a little break. It also keeps the other kids safe and the teacher's safe, and then also they can get back on task sooner when Carl leaves the room if needed to. Again, the changing climate, it could be his spot. Classroom can be confrontational sometimes, so this could be a place where he can go and relax and gather his thoughts and maybe go back into the classroom. The counseling sessions help Carl talk to someone. It's important. We got to figure out what's going on here. Get some help with that, and then also counselor to evaluate and add to the IEP if needed with their expertise, and then communication back to the teacher. Category 4: debrief the problem on what you think, feel, and value. All right, what was I thinking? Right now, I think Carl needs more than what the teacher can offer. The teacher's frustrated. Carl's frustrated. It's just not a situation that's getting better right now. So we need to do something about it. Outside the school's influences education. We know the divorce is happening, and it's been a big strain on Carl, and so we need to figure out if we can help that situation at all. But we also need to protect Carl, the teachers, and the students. What was I feeling? Well, the main thing is Carl needs support and help. Not exactly sure what that looks like at this point without getting some of the counseling sessions in and meeting with the parents, but definitely needs something to help him get back on track and get his education that he needs. We also need to support the teacher. Right now, our teacher's not feeling supported. She came and asked him to leave the classroom and wanted it done immediately, and that just doesn't happen. But as long as we're showing that we're taking the steps to help her feel the support by maybe putting a parent in the room, we can do that right away. By stopping in frequent visits, again, that shows support. But actually just getting Carl out of the classroom, that just can't happen as the teacher thinks it should. We also need to adjust the IEP and the services need to Carl. What was I valuing? Well, you always have to keep the students' health and learning first, both for all the students at the school, but also for Carl. We also have to support the staff, the teachers, not only classroom teachers, but the other teachers that Carl's acting out on. So we need to make sure they stay safe. And then we also need to be able to communicate and have a good working relationship with the admin, the co-op, and with the parents. What are some things that are unresolved right now? Well, the family issues, the main thing that's unresolved. As a school, we can't really do a whole lot with that. We can offer our services, show them services that have worked for other families in the past, but we got to hope that they get that worked out. Anything that was brought up in the sessions, we had some counseling sessions earlier, so anything that's brought up to help Carl out, let's try to do that. We need to have Mrs. Taylor feel supported. I think the steps that we have in place right now and working towards will help Mrs. Taylor feel supported. And does this affect any other family members or students in the class? I'm sure there are other students in the family, so we need to be checking on them as well and make sure it's not affecting them or will affect them. Just keep an eye out. Okay, category 5, provide examples. Promote the academic success of every student. To help with every student, additional staff in the classroom, that doesn't just always have to be Carl. Carl's not going to always have a bad day or a bad time, so that person in there can help out anybody, the teacher, the students, whatever needs to happen. But then when Carl needs the support, then that's who he's there for. Support the teachers so they can focus on education again, keeping it to where the teacher can focus on all the kids, and when Carl's participating, Carl's part of it. When Carl's not, then we have somebody in there to help that situation. The teacher, again, can just stay focused and not feel threatened. And then this will also help with the disruption of other students. Sometimes it won't be Carl that disrupts it. Maybe some of the other kids have figured out that they can trigger Carl, so we can keep an eye on that with that extra help in there as well. Category 5, B, promote the personal well-being. It's important that we always work towards having a safe environment for all students. Part of that will be the resource room for all the students. This is not a Carl's resource room. This is a resource room that any student can go to. It'll just be a place where Carl can go if he need be. But all the other students can as well, and we need to be able to have somebody in that resource room that with training that can help the students. And by doing so, anybody, Carl or anybody else that leaves, that can help relieve the stress in the classroom, where they know they have a safe place to go, but also the teacher knows that they have a safe place to go and they can continue it and not be stressed about how or what I'm going to do with a student that's misbehaving. Category 5C, enhancing instructional capacity. So Carl can receive help and start participating in class. That's our goal. That's our end goal, is to where Carl feels that he can be in the classroom, be productive. The teacher is productive, and we're moving forward. That's what we want to see happen. Um, with support, students and Carl can receive the extra help. That's having somebody in there that, again, we can support a lot of different kids plus Carl. Uh, Work with support to help support Carl's IEP. This IEP is probably going to change after we have a meeting with the parents and the counseling session. So we just need to make sure we're supporting that IEP the best way we know how in a district that has a lot of schools inside its co-op. Reflecting back, I think the main thing out of this case study is how we're going to handle the situation that Carl is in. It wasn't a decision that Carl made. It was kind of made for him. So we need to make sure we get that help and support so Carl can become a student again and help the classroom be productive and help the teacher. Mrs. Taylor gets the help and support she was after. She was very frustrated. I'm sure she's tried everything in her power that she knows how, and Carl probably got under her skin, and she feels like Carl needs help and she doesn't know how. So we need to make sure we're on that same page and get Carl some help, and Mrs. Taylor stays involved with that. Students feel welcome and safe to be in the school. Nobody can feel safe when somebody's throwing rocks off a bus or throwing pencils at a teacher. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. So we don't want students to feel that they can do it or feel that might be them next. And again, our final goal is to get Carl in the classroom full time, working as a normal student, and not have to go to the reflection room because of behavior from the divorce, and just make sure we get the support that he needs. Thank you.